This is the list of banners that we are getting for this year on the NA server. I had actually gone through this before, but like because of the recording did not was not unfortunately the recording did not work properly. So this is a splash image of the banners made by Iris Wizard on Discord. Or wait, let me just block myself. You can see here at the bottom right, or Arson Department, where I got the image from. Now, this year, like if I'm gonna compare this banner, this year compare it to next year, I feel like next year is a more stacked year in terms of new servants. But like this year, I mean, you do get quite a number of banners, and we'll probably also be getting banners that are not here on this list, because this list is based on what was released on the JP server. But with what's been happening, it feels like the NA server does tend to release a few more banners than what was originally done in JP. But like for me personally, like this year, I'll be spending most of this year saving up for the banner in 2025, pretty much. But like I can go through like each of them one by one real quick. So of course, right now we currently have the New Year's banner with Koyanskaya of Dark, and then I believe, if not tomorrow, but in a few more days, we will be getting the Koyanskaya of Light banner. If you're on the fence of choosing which of these two to summon for, I would recommend probably prioritizing Koyanskaya of Light. Koyanskaya of Dark is not a bad unit. It's just that Koyanskaya of Light is more versatile in the way for Buster comps, honestly. And then in a few days, we will be getting the Case Files rerun, or the Reigns Case Files rerun. And then we will be having the new 4-star Pretender, Hephaestion, or as people like to call her, Faker, because if you have seen the anime, you know why. As a Pretender unit, she's a really good unit to get, but she does get added to the permanent pool, so she can spook you in the future. But like her kit is insane. She has like an 80% charge, and then she has a skill which makes her do effective damage against casters. So very powerful unit. I was lucky enough to get NP2 of her, and she has gotten me through quite a lot of content that needed damage against casters. NP1, I feel that there might be situations where if you're facing off against like an assassin enemy or challenge content, at NP1 you might be lacking damage. Although you can always circumvent that if you do have Oberon. But still, I feel Hephaestion is a very solid unit. And of course, Reigns, a solid support unit. Of course, not as prevalent in a lot of today's meta, but still a very good support unit to have, regardless. And then, of course, for the rest of January, it's pretty much rerun banners. We have the Arjuna Karna duo, Dante's Nightingale duo. If you know why it's a duo, they're a duo, that's because of FGO story. Then of course we have Ereshkigal and Ishtar. I believe I am very happy with this banner because this is one of the few banners where Ereshkigal does not have a 4-star Lancer that's on raid up with her. Because almost all of the other banners, she has a 4-star Lancer. So whenever you roll on Ereshkigal banners, you might end up getting spooked by a 4-star Lancer. So I believe, like, if you're gonna roll for Ereshkigal, this is one of the few banners where she doesn't have a 4-star with her. If I recall correctly, I could be wrong. And then we have Valentines. So pretty much, all of the Valentine's units get a rerun, but like it would be best if you could Bazette is a very interesting unit because her gameplay is very different from everyone else, in the sense that she is like, I mean, I cannot say like she's the first counter unit, but like I would say she is the first proper, I guess, counter unit. Like her kit works well as a counter unit because a lot of times the other ones, the angry mango doesn't really it doesn't work well as a. But anyways, so if there's like, this would probably be, aside from, of course, like in terms of new units, like I would recommend Hephaestion, Dark Coin, and Skya. Bazette is also another unit I would recommend. Just for the uniqueness of her kit. While she won't be... I mean, you can kind of do the whole 3-turn farming with Bazette, but I feel like she's definitely best suited for like challenge content because of the way her counter works. Doing 3-turn farming with Bazette can be done, but it takes longer since a lot of it is dependent on the enemy action. There is that. I won't go through too many of the rerun banners. I'll just go through them briefly, but I won't really focus too much on the character, like the rerun characters. I'll be focusing mostly on the new characters. I remember this banner. This banner is probably one of my favorite ones, even though I did not get Melt or King Protea, is because this was a banner where you had 3 alter egos on raid up, and if you search for that term on my YouTube channel, that is my highest viewed clip on my YouTube channel. You'll see why. Anyways, so, and then March is pretty much when the whole Road to 7 campaign starts. So basically, we go through each of the Lostbelt's banners. But we start out with the Arjuna banner, which is the Chaldea Boys Collection banner. This was kind of important in JP because this was like the first Arjuna banner after like 3 years. But in NA, we had a banner of him recently, so the impact is not as big. But like at the time with JP, it was kind of a big deal because of how long it took took JP to rerun a banner of Arjuna. You don't have Merlin yet. I mean, I would recommend Merlin. He's still really good, and a lot of people say he needs a buff, but I honestly think that he is good as is. But if he gets a buff, sure, whatever. But like, he is still a solid unit especially for challenge content. You could kind of say that he did get a buff in the form of a different unit in summer, but we'll get to that later, I guess. You still don't have Scotty. Scotty is a solid support unit, so there is that. This is the Lostbelt 2 Road to 7 campaign banner, and that pretty much ends March. Now in April is the I'm trying to remember if this is the Tesla Fest or not. It might be. No, sorry, Tesla Fest was here. That's why he's there. I forget the reason why we have Morgan on rate up, but so if you don't have Morgan yet, oh, sorry, another new unit before I get to Morgan. Another new unit we get are the Trung sisters. They are a single target arts. So think of them kind of like Dioscuri. If you already have Dioscuri, or if you play them, they kind of have similar kits. But the difference is, I guess I would say, well, Dioscuri is more on quick and arts, or arts and quick, more like. The Trung sisters are kind of more on arts and buster. So their NP is a single target arts NP. They are a pretty good unit, but like if you compare them to a lot of other units, there are some pros and cons that definitely differentiate them. But for me personally, I won't be rolling on this banner. And then we get Morgan rate up. I'm still debating. It will depend on, because like right now I have Morgan NP2. I do want more copies of her, but there will be another banner of Morgan later in the year. So it's really up to you on how many Saint Quartz you have at this point, and like the servants that you're rolling for. Maybe you can roll for Morgan at this banner, or you can wait like half a year later where Morgan gets another rate up. So Morgan is a very powerful 5-star berserker, does AoE NP damage. So she's very good with farming, and also is one of the main components to the Immortal comp. So a very versatile unit, and I definitely want to get more copies of her. But it will depend if I will summon for her in April or later in the year, depending on how many Saint Quartz I have saved up by this point in time. Now we go over to the second half of April, and this is where we have our collab event with the Rio campaign, and we get Super Bunyan and Daikokten. I feel like they kind of... Honestly, like Bunyan, I feel like just didn't get enough differentiation to make her stand out. Especially when you consider that, like, she's basically, like, in her final ascension, she's basically 3 characters in one. But yeah, like, she is a single target alter ego, I believe. And she doesn't really stand out, unfortunately. But, you know, if you are familiar with the 1-star berserker Bunyan, then maybe you might enjoy her as her kit as a character. They have the same, their NPs are almost the same amount of time, and Bunyan has one of the shortest NPs, so it's interesting in that way where they still kept her NP time. Daikokten is a 4-star quick unit, kind of a quick support unit in the vein of Scotty, but they're just a budget version. Oh man, I want this download campaign so bad because on NA I still don't have a Jolter. I tried to get her on the GSSR, but unfortunately I failed. So I am looking forward to this download campaign. But also on this download campaign is Caster Artoria, and of course by now, or well, I guess if you've been playing the game for quite a bit, Caster Artoria is a very good unit to have for pretty much the Immortal comp and arts farming in general. So if you still don't have her, now's a good time to get her, or you could wait till after anniversary or later in the year, around the same time as the Morgan banner also dropping. So there's a lot of opportunity to get her, so it really depends on whether you want to summon for her at this point in time, which is in May, or later in the year. But yeah, for this period of time, my goal here is Jolter. Constantine, I forget what's like. Constantine is the pre-campaign banner for Lostbelt 6.5. Constantine, he's kind of like a defensive unit. But the thing is, a lot of I don't know if this is like, I feel like Constantine's kit is just contradictory. So like his NP does not work well with his skills, and his skills does not work with his NP. That's how I feel about his kit. But then again, like I don't have him, so I never really used him. But like when I was reading his kit, I just felt like it was all over the place. Yeah, bread. Yeah, pretty much. It just feels all over the place. But like if you do get to use him, he basically can tank hits without getting any damage because of the amount of defense up that he has. And then we get a rerun of the Tunguska banner, basically. I believe the reason why we get the rerun is because this is when it gets introduced as a main interlude in the game. The Tunguska story gets introduced as a main interlude, but like there are no raids you have to go through. Maybe the final assaults you'll have to go through on the main interlude. So there is that. And then in June is when we have LB 6.5, which is the Trom Lostbelt. And we get a whole bunch of characters. So we basically get the Knights of Charlemagne, or Charlemagne himself, and of course Roland, who is a Knight of Charlemagne. And then we have Kriemhild, the spouse, wife, lover of Siegfried, right? Brain? Yes. And then we have Ruler Moriarty. And then Don Quixote. And then I forget this guy's name, but he's basically like the leader of the Yellow Turban Rebellion. So if you're familiar with the Warring Three States, that's this guy. Now, as for their kits, Charlemagne's kit is a quick AoE servant. So if you're familiar with Okita Alter Summer, his kit is kind of similar to her. Although I would say that while they are similar to each other, I feel like Charlemagne's is more oriented towards challenge content because he's more of reducing quick resistance, while Okita Alter Summer is applies quick buffs to herself whenever they NP. So Charlemagne can't carry over to the next turn the buffs, while Okita Alter kind of does. I will Grimhill react to smaller C. Actually, I don't know. I haven't really seen their interactions. I haven't been able to get her in JP. Grimhild, 4-star Berserker. But yeah, I'm not very familiar with her kit. But I believe she does very well in certain situations. Now for Moriarty, Moriarty is an AoE NP arts ruler. So in terms of neutral farming, I don't know. I think he's a solid unit. But a lot of people have compared him to other neutral arts units like Kama, like Summer Kama or Space Ishtar. So it really depends on. I feel like it's more on like certain situations or certain times, like with regarding their own niches, on whether you would use Moriarty over Kama and Space Ishtar. But I feel like most of the time you'll be running like Kama if the enemy is able to be afflicted by the charm, or Space Ishtar in general being able to change her NP at any point in time. So that kind of puts Moriarty in a odd spot. And of course, you know, waifu versus husbando, so it's really more of a choice. I would say though, I do like Moriarty's animations. They make him more in line with like I like how the like he's more in line with Sherlock when the previous Moriarty is way older than this Sherlock. So, anyways, now as for Don Quixote and the Yellow Turban guy, is more on changing the fields. Like his skills basically change the fields to different types. And Don Quixote, unfortunately, I don't remember what his kit is. And then, so that's early June, so we have Lostbelt 6.5. And then we have, like, the Grail Front. And this Grail Front features BB. This is, like, the first Grail Front that has a story. So we have BB and Ganesha or Jinako on Raid Up. And then we have, I forget what the name of this event is, but like it's basically event like a dog. Like if you're if you want to see an event all about dogs, then this is pretty much that event. Here we have Bakin. She is a what is she? Arts ruler. So if you compare her to Odysseus and Da Vinci Rider, I would say, like, how I always compared it is that Bakin is kind of like in the middle ground. Like if you would say Odysseus has higher damage, and then Da Vinci has better support and looping capabilities, or consistent loop with Da Vinci. Bakin is kind of in the middle between the two. And then the second part of that event goes over onto July, and then we have a permanent unit. His name is Tametomo, right? He's basically a AOE Buster Archer. He has a potential to do insane amounts of damage, but the thing is, Ishtar and Gilgamesh end up getting, Gilgamesh especially ends up getting a buff where he's just over any of the other Buster Archers. So if you already have Gilgamesh, Tametomo is permanent, so don't really have to go out of your way to roll for him since he is permanent. He may spook you in a future banner, so there is that. And then we're going towards the heavy summoning season of the year, which is usually around July, August. Now, as for NA, we're not exactly sure what the order events will be because normally we have our anniversary in July. So these banners may end up being moved around a little bit. But basically, over here, we have, I forget what's the reason for the comma banner. There's a reason, I can't forget, but I'm sure it explains it here, but I can't remember what that is. I think it, or maybe it might be the Oku being added as interlude. I forget. Anyways, but the important one is this banner. I believe this is like the first time this has happened, but this is like the time when we do not get a summer event rerun. So that was like the first time that has ever happened, I believe. Yeah, because that's the Da Vinci time where we never got a rerun for the summer event, and those who don't have summer Da Vinci ruler would have to wait until she's released in the evocation to be able to get her. But what's crazy about this, especially for me, being a Saberface lover, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Saberfaces on Raid Up. So this is basically the pre-summer campaign banner. So it features pretty much the Saberfaces from throughout the years. So that's it's a very tempting banner to roll on. Oh boy. And then so yeah, we're not really sure when we'll get this banner, but I'm assuming we're going to be getting it before anniversary, because our anniversary should be around July, like the first week of July. And we can see here we have our anniversary unit, which was kind of a surprise, but also kind of I'm not sure if expected is the right word. But here we have Archetype Earth, or as everyone else likes to call her, Arcuid, which is pretty much obvious on what this character references. So if you're familiar with Tsukihime, then you know who this character is. She was basically the anniversary unit we get. And if there is a servant I would recommend rolling for multiple copies of, it would be Arcuid. She is a Moon Cancer. She has a 100% charge on her skill, so she basically can go full charge, and if you add her to the Koyanskaya system, she basically can charge herself twice to full. Now the concern is that while her kit her kit is a really good kit, the problem with her Noble Phantasm is it does lack that punch it needs. Even though you can equip her with Black Grail, and she can 3-turn loop with Black Grail, the concern is the amount of damage she does. So hence that would be one reason why you would get more NP level copies of Arcuid. But like for me, I do have her NP 1. And I've made the most of it, but yeah, I could see there have been certain situations where I would wish that she was at a higher NP level, but still a very solid unit. So for 3-turn farming or certain challenge situations, but you know, with her being a Moon Cancer, she will mostly be doing neutral damage. And then, of course, we have the GSSR banner for the anniversary. I'll probably make a more detailed video on this banner, of course, once it gets closer to the NA later this year on NA. And then after anniversary, we should get summer. We get a lot of banners for summer, for the summer proper. First up, that's of key note, is Lady Avalon. So Lady Avalon, she is essentially an arts version of Merlin. She does have some differences in her kit, especially with the way that one, she starts with a 20% charge right off the bat when she enters battle. So if you have that and unlock her append skill for mana loading, she can already start with 40% charge just from that. And then every turn she has a 5% charge just from her passives. So that's her kit. Pretty much Merlin, but arts version. Just think of it that way. So I would recommend to roll for her if you do not have Merlin. She works well with the Immortal comp, especially if you're going to be focusing on arts version of the Immortal comp. And then some would say that getting more NP copies of her would be nice, because when you get more NP copies of her, whenever she does her NP, the NP level affects the amount of NP charge per turn that is buffed to the party. So having her at higher NP levels would make it so that you're able to get NP charge quickly. But the thing is, I have her NP 1, and that has gotten me through quite a lot of challenge content as NP 1. So this is where, as like certain situations where like some servants can provide more bang for your buck at higher NP levels, sure, but she's fine at NP 1. Oops. Then, of course, we have our other two summer units. So, Summer Ibuki, she is basically an upgraded. Unfortunately, I would say she pretty much power creeped Summer Musashi. Sure, Summer Musashi has some situations where she can still, she's able to still 3-turn arts farm quite consistently, but Ibuki has charge. She has I forget, chat. Is it buff removal or invuln pierce or on her NP? So that makes her more consistent with looping, if ever. So she is a solid unit to summon for on the summer. And if you're familiar with our summer banners, normally we have 2 5-stars summer servants on raid up. This was the first time where they had 3 5-star units on raid up for summer. So here we have Summer Scotty. Pretty much, if you're familiar with Scotty Caster's kit, Summer Scotty's skill set is almost the same. It's just that instead of defense down, she has an attack buff. And she also buffs Buster cards on her quick skill. So pretty much similar. And the thing is, at least this Scotty has an NP, unlike her caster counterpart. So I'm just kidding. But basically, if you're familiar with the double Scotty meme or double Scotty farming, now we have triple Scotty farming. There's just that. Food for thought. And then for the 4-star units for summer, I mean, you have Gareth, Eris Avenger, and then Wu Zetian summer. Among the 4-stars, I feel like Eris has had content where she definitely would excel on specific challenge content. As for the other two, I've rarely had situations where I would use them. Because, like, for example, Gareth's kit is very similar to Gawain's kit. But if you already have Gawain, or if you have other Buster Saber units, usually you'd prefer to go to your already existing Buster units. So... But with like Eris, she has damage niche. Sorry if I can't remember it. She's one of the servants to elude me from summer. I pretty much got everybody in this summer except for Eris and Summer Scotty. So but like the only units that I've used is Lady Avalon and Summer Ibuki. I wish I got Summer Eris, because like I was seeing in like certain challenge quests or 90++ nodes where Eris would be beneficial to have. As for Wu Caster, yeah, I haven't really seen. She's a Buster AoE unit, but I have rarely seen any situation where I would need to use her. Not I'm saying that she has a bad kit, but like I'm just like saying that there hasn't been a time where like I would like go out of my way to try to look for her. And then Ah, yes, we have the rerun for the summer banners for Okita Alter Summer and Kama Summer. So Kama Avenger. So if you weren't able to get her last year, you have another chance, or get them last year, you have another chance. They do have a rerun banner. What's this? Melty. Ah, okay. So I don't know if we will still get this banner, but this is basically a rate-up banner for OG Artoria, and then a bunch of MASH CEs. Because this was, I believe, when MASH was added to Melty Blood as a DLC character. So I believe we already got this banner on NA, so I don't know, like, as part of like the Evo fighting campaign. So I don't know if they will give this banner to us again. And then we have download campaigns. So I forget what, if there's a theme for this banner, but I can't remember. But basically, we get two banners for this download campaign. So here we get a bunch of rotating servants, and we get a bunch of new CEs. So there is that. And then we also get, well, it's not really a we get Space Ishtar on Raid Up again, but like basically the banner is like Saber Wars 2 banner rerun, but it's not really. It's a download campaign banner. Okay. So for September, we get we're continuing the Road to 7 campaign. So here we have Lostbelt 4. So a bunch of the servants that are part of the story in Lostbelt 4 will be on raid up here. So Arjuna gets another raid up. Surprise. And then after that, we get the Gudaguda event. So of course, Gudaguda servants are on raid up. So we have the new quick 5-star berserker, Sen. I honestly can't remember his kit, but unfortunately, I feel like honestly, I don't really know if this guy is any good, honestly. Like, I feel like he was kind of forgotten, or like I rarely see anybody really mention him. If anything, a lot of people definitely focused on Sen. She is a 5-star quick berserker, and she is able to loop, I believe, 3-turn loop from 0 with Black Grail. So a very powerful unit. Of course, for me, I wasn't able to get her, but the reason for that is because at this point I was already at NP3 Morgan, and also because I pretty much spent all of my money, all of my Saint Quartz on summer. So at this point, I was busy trying to rebuild my Saint Quartz stock again, so I couldn't really summon on any of the Gudaguda units. So this might happen to you, unless of course you have better luck than me, which is good. So Sen is a good unit. Then of course we have rerun units. So you have Mount Nobu, Ryoma, Hijikata, Himiko, the 2 Okitas, Okuni, to name the 5 stars. Then we have the 4 stars with Summer Okita, Nobu Summer, FGO Virgil. I keep forgetting his name. And then the only 3-star on raid up is Mori. I believe Nobukatsu will be added to the friend point summon again, per usual. So there is that if you still haven't gotten Nobukatsu. And then so this is the Lostbelt 5 Atlantis Road to 7 banner. Then of course we have Road to 7 Olympus banner. I forgot what this event is about, but we basically have a new AoE quick assassin and a new 4-star lancer. Unfortunately, I didn't really I was still in save mode, so I didn't really try to look at these characters' kits. But I've heard quite a few good things about the quick assassin, but again, I'm not very familiar with her kit, unfortunately. And then we have let's see, Jack Demolay, Tai Gong Wang, Shikibu, say Raid Up, reruns. And then we have Van Gogh, Nemo, and then another Jolter banner. So at this point, there are two Jolter banners for me to roll on. So we have the 25 million the download campaign, and then another one here. I forget what the reason for this banner is. So she still eludes me in the English server. So depending on how it goes, at least I have another chance to try to get Jolter. Road to 7. Not sure. Could be, maybe. Nah, I don't think that's the Road to 7, because the Road to 7 is in November, which is why there's another banner for Morgan. There's a lot of banners in November, but half of them are because of Morgan Fest, I believe. That's the reason why there's a Morgan banner, because of Morgan Fest. And then there is Lostbelt set Road to 7, Lostbelt 6 banner. And then we have a bunch of rerun banners with like the Knights of Charlemagne banner. This is I forget. This is the Morgan Fest. Sorry, like all of this is pretty much the Morgan Fest banner. The new unit here would be Britomat, or what a lot of people like to say. She's kind of like Bradamante 2.0. She is a quick NP, quick AoE Lancer. So yeah, her kit kind of similar to Bradamante. That's why the joke is like she's Bradamante 2.0, and also because of the angles on the Saint Graph. But anyways, then speaking of Bradamante, so the Knights of Charlemagne get a rerun. And of course, Bradamante is there. I believe this is also the patch where she gets a buff as well. And then if you still weren't able to get Castor Artoria earlier in the year, Castor Artoria gets another raid up, along with Da Vinci. If at this point I still haven't gotten Da Vinci, I might roll on this banner for Da Vinci. I don't have her. And then, also, Britomat is pretty much the last new unit that we get for the year. After her, there are no other new units, so a lot of the banners are mostly just reruns. But not saying that it's all bad. This is also when the final Lostbelt Road to Lostbelt 6 banner is released, so you get Muramasa, Melisande, and Oberon. So this is like This is like the only other time we get a banner for Oberon aside from the GSSRs. So that was how many? I think that was 18 months away. So yeah, that's pretty like so later in December this year. If you still don't have Oberon, that's his next banner that he will be on Raid Up. And then we have another Melty Blood banner. This is when Ushi Wakamaru gets added as a DLC character. And then this is I don't know if we will still get this banner because I believe this was already given to us. So it's basically Fate Extra Last Encore, where the animation gets their Blu-ray release. And then we end the year with Koyanskaya and Moriarty Ruler reruns. Yeah, that's a quick overview of the banners that we are getting this year. But if you're trying to like choose which servants to prioritize this year, I'm gonna try to release this video by today, but like I would say like the servants that you might want to prioritize. So we have Koyanskaya that will be releasing in a few days. Bazette. So for this one, you have a choice for Morgan and where's Castor Artoria? It should be, yeah, here. So for Morgan and Castor Artoria, it's really up to you. But like maybe you could summon them on like earlier this year or later in the year. So at least you have like two different opportunities to summon for them, because the important one is basically gonna be July and August, because that's our anniversary / summer season, and there are gonna be a lot of banners that you could roll on. But if I were to say to prioritize, you would prioritize Arcuid and like the other support units, Lady Avalon and Summer Scotty. So those would be like the units I would say to like prioritize for this year. Of course, you know, it's really, end of the day, it's really up to you on what banners that you will roll for. Now, if you're thinking, oh, this is still too many servants, you want to save up more, like, you know, so that you can get that guaranteed. In case you don't know, depending on how many servants you have, like, you could get a huge influx of Saint Quartz in Anniversary, but I'll probably go over that in another video. But basically, depending on how many servants you have at max Ascension or Final Ascension, you multiply that number by 3. That's the number of Saint Quartz you get at minimum, maybe, during Anniversary. So like for me, I think I have about 200 servants that are at maybe about 250 servants that are at max Ascension. So I would probably expect about 700 to 750 Saint Quartz, maybe. I'll have to double check my numbers, but you do get quite a huge influx of Saint Quartz at this time of year. But just to say, if like, you know, if there are like, if you want to reduce the number of servants that to prioritize for this year, like if you want to whittle this number down even more, I would say prioritize the July-August season. So that would be Arcuid, Lady Avalon, and Summer Scotty. Those would be the 3 I would say to prioritize, because Lady Avalon and Summer Scotty are very solid support units, and then Summer Scotty and Arcuid are very good also in farming. But like, if you are gonna roll for Arcuid, I would say like if you don't mind getting more than one copy of her, I would say probably try to get her NP2 at least. If you want more consistency with her being able to farm and for the amount of damage she can do. Because there have been some times where, like, I would just tell to myself, I should have gotten her NP2. But, like, you know, it's not essential. But, you know, if you want consistency, having her NP2 would be better. But then again, I would always say having one copy of a character is usually enough. But yeah, it's more of like if you want consistency with farming, having Arcuid at higher NP levels would be recommended. But yeah, I hope you guys found that informative. I'll be putting this on the YouTube channel. Hopefully it recorded properly this time. Hopefully. I had done this earlier in December, but that didn't go very well. But yeah, if there are certain servants that you are looking forward to, and like, you know, I'm doing this a lot through memory. I probably should have reviewed first, but you know, if there are certain servants that I may have gotten mistakes, you know, feel free to leave it in the comment. I'll probably pin it if ever I made a mistake. But you know, with regards to summoning for servants, it's really up to you at the end. Yeah, I wish you good luck with your 2024 summons. All right. Yeah, till the next YouTube video. Bye.